I don't know if you can hear it outside, or not outside, in the living room. My sister and nephew are watching Encanto because he really likes that movie, and so do I. But I needed to make these videos while there was some semblance of light outside this morning because it's gonna be thunderstorming later today. But welcome back. This is my newest video on the books that I have read and purchased within the last 3 months, so between April and June. And so my last video, I only bought 5 books between January and March. And if you look at my little book tracker here, I bought a lot of books between April and June. Actually, I bought 0 books during May as well, which is weird because that's my birthday month. Let me just see exactly how many I got. All right, so it is 13, well, technically 14, I guess, but I only have 13 here because one of them is still in the mail, waiting for that to arrive, hoping it gets here soon. But we'll go over the 13 books that I have purchased in both April and June before I get into the 5 books that I read between those months and the 1 book I DNF. All right, so the first one that I purchased in April is actually one that's not here. So it is the Fairy Loot edition of The Iron Vow by Julie Kagawa. I don't know when it's gonna arrive. I purchased it in April. The book was released early May, so I don't know when the Fairy Loot edition is going to get to me, but when it is here, I will happily display it all over my Instagram. The next 2 books that I got in April, I got these at, I think most of these, it's like a decent half mix between books I got at like a thrift store, flea market, yard sale, versus books that I got in a bookstore. These 2 books I got at a thrift store together, which I was very shocked that I found them in really good condition and hardcover, and they were like $4 each. But that is A Magic Steeped in Poison and A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy I. Lin. I've heard really good things about this book. The cover, just stunning. And then a sequel. So I saw them both, so I decided to get them. When am I going to read them? Who knows? The next 2 books I also bought at a thrift store. I actually bought them at the same like chain, just 2 different locations. So I bought them at Savers. One of the Savers was a few cities away from me. The other Savers was in my city. But these 2 books, so the first one, they're not connected in any way. Trevor Noah, Born a Crime. This is his autobiography. It's his stories from a South African childhood because he was born in South Africa. I think Trevor Noah is very funny. And I love, when he was hosting The Daily Show. He has since stopped hosting sometime this year, I believe. I found this and I wanted to get it and see if I read it someday, even though I'm bad with memoirs and autobiography. The next book is actually an anthology of short stories, so it's a collection. It is My Big Fat Supernatural Wedding. So I love supernatural type stories, with different types of characters, so like werewolves, sirens, all of that. So this is just a collection of a bunch of different short stories that have to do with weddings. So there's a wedding mixed in. I thought this would be cute, and I can always try reading this like over the summer. Well, it is summer right now, but maybe try and get to this during the summer since summer is really big for wedding season, or try and read it in the fall when it's more like spooky season, and there's also a lot of fall weddings too. Last 4 books I bought in April, I did buy these at a bookstore. We had gone to Massachusetts to bring my nephew to the Burlington Mall because he loves Legos. I love Legos too. Was never allowed to play with them as a kid, but my nephew is, so I'm kind of living my Lego childhood dreams now. But we wanted to bring him to the Lego store in the Burlington Mall. We heard it was bigger than the one closer to us, so we went there, and there was a 2-story Barnes & Noble across the street. So we drove over. The first book I got is one that I've been eyeing for a little bit. I decided to just get the first one instead of getting both of them since these ones were going to be full price in a bookstore. But that is We Hunt the Flame, and this is by Hafsa Faisal. There's my receipt. Hafsa Faisal. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This book has been out for a while now, and I had always wanted to read it. When did it come out? Yeah, 2019. I've always been interested. I follow someone on TikTok and Instagram. I am forgetting their username right now. They love this duology so much that I believe the author made them a character in the second book, which I think is so cool and sweet of the author to do. So I decided to get this one. The next 3 books were numbers 2 through 4 in a series, and that is the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. So I got 2 through 4 because I read volume 1 at the end of last year, and so I just decided they were all there. Every time I had gone to a store before, they only had like 2 and 4 or 3 and 4, and never all 3 of them. And so when I was at this Barnes & Noble and they had basically all 4, because they also had volume 1 there, I decided to get it. I wanted to read them, especially with the show being out. I wanted to read all these before I start watching the show, and I know volume 5 is coming out at some point. I'm bad at keeping up with releases. Now we begin the books I got in June, and the first 2 in June I also got from a local bookstore in my area. I like to go in there sometimes. It's a cute little place. They have a cafe, a really cute like kids section with this giant like tree that they stick like stuffed animals and books on it. It's really cute. If I had my own house with a library, I'd want to set something up like that, similar, just to have something cute. But I decided to get 2 books. The first one is A Psalm for the Wild, built by Becky Chambers, because Jason, who I follow on TikTok, read this book and the second one, said that these made him cry and like think about his life and his purpose. And I've kind of been in a little bit of a spiral when I think about that myself. So I think this might be a good book for me to try. And I think it's also cool that I've gotten 2 Becky Chamber books this year. So I also have A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet right here by her that I purchased in March. So I think it's kind of cool that I've purchased 2 of her books this year. The next one is called French All Around Us, and so this is the French language and Francophone culture in the United States. The editors are Kathleen Stein and Fabrice Jamont, and there's a bunch of different essays in here by different people who study French. I don't know everybody, but I do know 2 of the people who have essays or something, stories in here. I know 2 of the people personally. One of them was my professor in college, and another one is part of a organization that I know, and I have met him in person a few times. So I wanted to get this one. There was an event about this book at my bookstore, and I forgot to get tickets for it. So that's on me, but I'm still interested in reading this, at least the ones that are written by people I know, because I do still love, you know, French, the French language, French culture. I majored in it, so yeah. So that is the next book I got at that bookstore. The last 3 books I got in June, I got from a rummage sale at a local Greek church in my area. They were holding this big rummage sale. I got a few things. I tried making a TikTok, but I recorded it and didn't do anything else with it, so I deleted it. Or did I delete it? It might still be sitting in my drafts. But I got 2 books from there. I got Fried Green Tomatoes by Fanny Flagg, and I've only ever seen the movie of this that has Kathy Bates. That's the only actor in the movie that I can recall is in it, and she's in like the modern day times for like half of the story. But I thought it was really cute, and the chapters are also very short. So like here's the beginning of this chapter, and there's the beginning of the next chapter. So it's really short. I think this would be a cute little read. I feel like this would be a good fall read for me, even though some of the dates on these, it's like February. So maybe I'll wait until next year in like February to start reading this. But I thought it was very cool that I found this so I wanted to read it. The next book at that rummage sale, I have no idea what this is, but it was so pretty that my mind went blank and it just ended up coming with me. It comes in a little sleeve. It is a Victorian posy, so it's Pen Halligan's Scented Treasury of Verse and Prose. So this is like the box, and then here's the actual book of it. And I just think it's so pretty. It's just like a collection of poetry and stuff, and there's pictures. Maybe I'll try and read this summer when we have nice days. But here in New England, it has literally been raining nonstop for like a month. Lisa, grass is watered. The last book that I purchased, I got at a yard sale, and I got it for 50 cents, where this book is normally $23. It's hardcover, and it's in amazing condition. I've been interested in this book. I don't know much about it, but I was like, hey, for 50 cents, I'm taking it. And that is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. This is by Charlie Mackesy. Maybe Mackesy. I don't know. I'm sorry. But I wanted to pick this up and see if it was a quick little read for me. Now we're going to try and quickly get through the next few books that I have read, because my camera battery lied to me and said it was charged, and it is not fully charged. So let's get to the books I've read, and we'll start with the book that I DNF'd. So the book I DNF'd was one that I tried to start at the beginning of this year, and that is The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, and I just can't. I started this in January. I've made it 48 pages through, and I just haven't wanted to pick it back up. I stopped it in January, and I haven't wanted to pick it up since, so we're going to see if I want to pick it up later, but I will keep it on my shelf because it is a very pretty edition of the book. The first of the 5 books that I read in the last 3 months was Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and this is by Talia Hibbert. It's the first in her kind of Brown Sisters trilogy companion novels that she has, and I really like this. I thought it was really cute and sweet, and I did very much enjoy the relationship between Chloe and Red. The spice in it was not bad. I didn't know this is basically, this and another book I read, 2 years ago, are really the only books that I've ever read with like spice in it. And so I don't necessarily know how I feel about spice in books, but I did definitely enjoy this book and those scenes in it. I thought that they worked really well, you know, with the story, and that they were really well written. The next book is The Iron Vow by Julie Kagawa, the third and final installment in the Evanfall trilogy within the Iron Fae series. I'm pretty sure this is the last one she's writing at all ever for Iron Fae, and that makes me sad because I love these books. I've loved them since high school, but I am very happy that I have the book and that I read it, and it was a very beautiful ending in my opinion. I was pleasantly surprised that the fate of one of the characters, when I started reading Iron Raven, I was like, something is going to happen to this character. He's not going to make it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this is going to happen to him. I was like, he's not going to make it back to the Never Never, all of this. And I was pleasantly surprised with the way that his particular story ended at the end of this. And then the next 3 books that I read in June, kind of my Pride Month reads, but they were very late in Pride Month that I read them. But that is Heartstoppers volumes 2 through 4. I decided to read these. I read them all in one day. I was just looking at my shelf and I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm reading these. So I did, and I very much enjoyed them. I thought it was nice to see the kind of journey and growth between Nick and Charlie. I liked how they kind of grew both themselves and with each other and the friends, you know, how Nick was going, you know, really looking at his friends and the way that they treated him and treated Charlie and other people around them. I really did love all of these books, and sort of Nick's coming to terms and coming out to both himself and the people around him. And a little bit of Nick is a little bit of me when I was, you know, kind of coming out and realizing my own bisexuality. Those are the 14 books that I purchased these last 3 months and the 5 books that I read. I only have, what, 4 lines left on my book purchasing tracker? 5. And I wasn't planning on making a second page for it. I might have to. So we'll see. But I'm gonna try and not purchase any books July through September. We'll see how that works, if I can do it, if I can just not purchase any books July through September, just read the books that I have. So we'll see how that goes. Let me know the books that you've purchased recently, the books that you've read, which ones were your favorites, which ones were surprises. Have you haven't had any DNFs this year? Are you excited about any of the books that you've gotten so far? I'd love to chat about that, and I will see you guys in my next video. A bientôt!